All right, y'all. Thank y'all for coming out to the music couch. I got my homeboy with me, Phillip Jackson. I really appreciate him taking time out and coming out with me. Like I tell people, I can really, literally not have him here, have his picture on the screen, and answer every question as if he was here. That's how well I just know this guy, man. A good friend. Been knowing him all my life. I love him, adore him. So look, I'm gonna get right into it. I ain't gonna waste no time. Like I said, welcome to the music couch. And bro, Phillip, thanks for being here, bro. I appreciate it, man. Absolutely, absolutely. And that's my music. My boy got a album out. It's called A Tear for Time, which everybody needs to cop. First of all, Phillip, tell them where they can get the album at. Absolutely.
Tear for Time. It'll be out soon. We're in the process of working on it right now. I have a single out right now. You can go on any app and find it. Google Play, Amazon, Apple Music, Spotify. It's on every last one of those. It's entitled Build a Fence. I have wonderful friends on there. Jacqueline Jones, Lewis Cross, and his name is not coming to my mind right. Lamar Lyons. They're all on the song. It's a ballad, y'all. Everybody loves ballad. Easy listening, day or night. Preferably listen to it around 8, 9 o'clock. You don't put you to sleep.
Okay, cool. So in that same conversation, what was the process like making the album? Where did your inspiration come from?
I wanted to make an album with my friends. I just wanted to make music with my friends. I'm creative, have a lot of fun ideas. My ideas just don't really... They don't just come from music. They come from people that I'm around. They come from cartoons that I watch on a daily basis. I still watch cartoons. I don't care. I still watch them. They're still great. And so to have so many different ideas and to say, look, man, look, I can record and do anything anytime I want to, but I want to make music with my friends. And so that's the basis behind how we came up with making this project. I don't want to do nothing without my friends. It's not fun that way when you get to celebrate it. It means more. It does. It means more. So it's everything to me.
Cool. Okay, bro. So explain to the people. I know already. Explain to the people how you would. Explain to the people how you would describe your music. I know to me it's like gumbo. You can't really put Phillip in a box. He can do rap, he can do gospel, he can do R&B, he can do old school, he can do country. I seen him do bluegrass. So how would you describe your music? Even though you really can't, but how would you describe your music?
I would say my music is soul. It falls into the gospel realm per se because that's predominantly where I sing, but it's basically soul. Emotions first. What a lot of people, they say, well, what drives you to your approach as a singer? It's emotions.
Absolutely.
You get the best feeling out of any song. You can take a subject and pretty much channel that subject. If you're mad, well, the song says, what are you mad about? The verse describes what got you to be mad. And then in the vamp of a song, it pretty much says, how do you overcome being mad? And so, man, it's all based on emotions. It's all soul. R&B, things of that nature. Not even so much as R&B, but just old soul music. Music that had to make you think, but at the same time made you enjoy it. So yeah.
Cool. So how would you describe your creative process? Do you get in the room by yourself? Do you meditate? Do you go on the balcony, do a cigarette, maybe some wine? Like, how do you get in that creative Phillip Jackson's mind space?
Well, I get a bottle of scotch.
Absolutely.
Get a bottle of scotch, throw on the collar shirt.
On the collar shirt.
A pair of dark glasses like Robert Beard. Throw that hand on. Man, I could be anywhere. I can sit back at work. I can hear an idea driving in the car without the radio even being on.
Right.
I can sit in the church service and laugh at somebody telling a testimony about a God grand dog or something. And, I hear something. And then in the midst of hearing something, and then you hum a melody or two, then you be like, well, let me see if this vocal works. And I make like a voice note doing a random hum, and then I try to harmonize with the hum, and just different things of that nature. So, man, music comes from anywhere, and that's just not what I do, but anybody that makes music, anybody that enjoys music, music comes from anywhere. You don't have to have the radio on. You don't even have to be in a music setting. You could be just in your house, and all of a sudden there's a tone or there's a voice or something that will take you there musically. And so, I mean, that's where your ideas come from.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is gonna be a two-part answer. One concerning dealing with R&B, old school music. The other concerning gospels. I mean, we are both love both.
Yep.
What's your favorite R&B old school song to sing, perform? Because he's not a singer, he's a performer, a entertainer. I call him Charles Barkley. You either hate him or you love him, but you gotta respect him. What's your favorite R&B? What's your favorite R&B song to perform? What's your favorite gospel song to perform?
If I had to perform any R&B song,
Marvin Gaye?
no. It's gonna be a completely random, no-name person per se. Gloria by Enchantment.
Wow. How many of y'all know that song? Look that up.
That's a ballad.
Awesome.
That's a ballad. It's got everything you could possibly have into a song. And it's a tearjerker, and it'll get to your chest cavity. Gloria, things ain't been the same since you went away. I don't want to see another day.
Yes, sir, Doc.
Gloria. And then if you make it spiritual, the verses will go, what is it? Isn't it funny how time can change?
Wow.
All the things you won't believe. In my mind, I won't change the way I feel because it's still the memories of you and me.
Wow.
That's a strong verse.
Sound like church to me, Doc.
That's a strong verse.
Now, what's your favorite gospel song to perform, Phillip?
If I had to perform a favorite gospel song, a favorite gospel song to perform.
I know it's a lot.
That's
Too
a
many.
hard one.
I'll give you two. I'll give you two songs because I understand how hard it is.
I don't want to pick nothing personal that I would do like I did over the years.
Unbiased right now. Two of your favorite gospel songs to perform.
I'm going to say two favorite gospel songs to perform is Farther Along by Willie Neal Johnson and the
Yes, sir,
Keynotes.
Doc.
Because it's strong and it's real strong. And you can pretty much you can really much tap into that song where you go. But also, I love grooves. So Do Your Will, Rance Allen.
Wow.
Because I'm soulful, because I like R&B and soul, that song takes you already there. You can't do nothing but get happy.
He's gospel and R&B anyway. Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't do nothing but get happy when you get there.
Wow. I didn't see that coming.
It's all guitar. It's a guitar. It's a shuffle. You can take up offering. You can pray the way out.
All
you
in
can
one.
put a message in one and walk on off.
Yes, sir, Doc. Okay, in that, with the Father Alone, let's just stay right there because I love quartet. I was grown. I grew up on quartet and I still listen to quartet. I still love to play quartet. Who is your favorite quartet group of all time? I'll give you two. It's a lot. I'll give you two of your favorite quartet groups of all time and why are they your favorite? What makes them great and stand out to you?
Well, it's always going to be the gospel keynotes.
Absolutely. Okay, question B for that. Which one? As we know, the real quartet fans know, there's about 4 or 5 sets of the gospel keynotes. So which is it, Robert and Teddy, or give me which year or which set of groups?
My favorite set of gospel keynotes is always going to be the one with Willie Neal has to be out front. He has to be alive. Let's start there.
First of all.
He has to be alive.
Not Little Willie and the keynotes or nobody like that.
The best set of gospel keynotes has to be the Some Days of Diamond, Some Days of Gold. That group itself had Charles McClain, unless you really know quartet.
This the 70s or the early 80s?
Early 80s.
Early 80s, okay.
So early 80s, Charles McClain was the top singer. There was no Robert. Paul Beasley left and went to the Mighty Clouds of Joy. But do your research on Charles.
Listen.
He was fantastic. Do your research on Charles. That group at the same time had Gino and had Jeffrey Newberry, and Teddy Cross at the same time.
A young Jeff and a young Teddy Cross. Wow.
Teddy Cross, for those that do not know, he is a guitar player. He started playing guitar. He was playing guitar for that group, and Jeff was on the microphone. So if you know Teddy, just imagine how great and strong he is vocally and just to say they had him in the wings.
That's true, because we know Teddy from his famous song
Down in the Water.
Down in the Water. And no one knew that he played guitar before he sung that song.
He played guitar. He played guitar for the group. They had Perry Taft. They had
I remember Taft, absolutely.
Larry, Val. I can't think of Val's name. Oh, Val Alexander. Those guys, and the crazy thing about them is people who have this mindset about quartet. They always say that quartet doesn't sing in choir keys. They just do general keys, like general standard, like 440 for guitar players out there that don't know. Standard tuning for as far as EAD, EADG. That's the regular tuning of a guitar player or bass player. B for your B string, C for your 6th string. So that's what they say. But if you listen to those guys perform, it's all choir keys. They do everything in choir keys. And
Willie Neal might have been the first person quartet guy to implement a choir in his recording. I remember that. Absolutely.
He's done probably every recording he's had a choir.
Absolutely.
He's had a song with Kurt Franklin.
Take it to the Lord in prayer. I remember that.
He had a song with Kurt Franklin. He keep on looking out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt was down in Houston.
Texas, absolutely. Yep.
Bobby Jones loved him being on the show. And again, the crazy thing about Willie Neal Johnson is too, he wasn't the greatest vocalist. Like a lot of people think that the best singers are the ones that could be the most acrobatic, or the ones that could just run all through a song.
Right.
If you feel the singer, you enjoy the singer. Let that be a lesson for you to take that home with you. If you feel the singer, you will enjoy him.
Wow. Mighty word. Absolutely. Staying with quartet. When you first started quartet as a young lad, who was the first group that pulled you out of Mary Street and said, "Hey, come sing"?
Ross Brothers.
Wow.
Ross Brothers.
Attest to that, please.
Marvin Ross Sr.
Yes, sir.
William Ross. I don't care where I go, and I meet a lot of great people. Those were the ones that believed in us first.
Yes, sir.
They how do you say, they nurtured us.
Yes, sir.
They took us from circuit to circuit. They taught us how things work. They showed us how, not so much as how to get a house, but they showed us how to present yourself given who you are. We single digits, little kids, and people, they see little kids sing, and sometimes they got talent, they might clap for them and things of that nature, but other times they're not really good. They don't get with them.
Which I was really good.
They don't really care about them. But I also, even with them, James Carr Sr.
Absolutely.
I will never forget.
Police.
I will never forget James Carr Sr., who has constantly supported us many, many years. When we first started, and we would go to these shows, and nobody from the church would come to the shows. And you could attest to that because you played drums, you've been there. And nobody would come to these shows, but you look out in the crowd, and him and Mary Carr would be there. People would be sitting down, listening to us sing. Well, maybe because we had reindeer, but they'd be sitting down, listening to us sing, and out of the whole crowd, you'll see them standing up and clapping and humming with us, and oh yeah, doing that in the crowd and stuff. So, man, just that constant support, that constant push. Joyce Hill too. Joyce Hill. For those, she's a part of the McLean family.
Absolutely,
Joyce
she did.
was one of those Joe Jackson style strict mother figures.
Absolutely.
Where we'd be up singing in church, and if we don't sing to our greatest potential,
she gonna let you have it.
She's
right
on the second row, mugging, clap. You better rock. You better know how to do both. You better know how to be coordinated while you doing it.
Yes.
If you don't hit that note how you supposed to hit it, try it again. And if you don't try it again, and you don't put no effort into it, I'll be seeing you outside.
Absolutely.
That's her. So those people I just named are homegrown, my home church people. Like that's what they do. Like they James Carr's not around anymore. William Ross is passed on. Marvin Ross is not the same man that he once was, but I will never forget and to pay homage to those that inspired me to be what I am today.
Absolutely.
Just can't do it.
Absolutely. And in that same sentence, in that same breath, it seems like me and you, being best friends anyway, always ended up playing for the same people.
Always.
Either he would drag me with him, or some way I would just find myself playing drums in the same group he's in.
Yeah.
So with that being said, our first group that we played together with, so many memories just now. Attest to what Reverend Tony Ward meant for you personally and in your singing career.
I stopped singing somewhere. I lost the thrill of it. I didn't know what to do.
Thrill was gone.
I started maturing. My voice started changing. Therefore, I didn't have an approach to how to move forward in singing. And a lot of singers, if you compare singing and maturing to, if I could equate that to, hold on, it's coming to me. If I can equate that to, what's that, middle-age crisis or so. If I could equate that to that, in a sense to where you hit a peak and you know you're going further, but you're uncertain about where to go. And as all singers, as you mature, you don't know what your voice can do, or you don't know what you need to do with it, because there's a talent aspect to it, but there's also a craft aspect to it. And certain notes and things that you could do when you were 8 or 9, when you're 13, 14, that goes away completely.
Right.
And so I was lost. I mean, we didn't have anything to work for. The energy and all that, the push, the motivation to do it, it dried up. So I went to find other things to do, and so I came back to sing. A guitar player that I knew, he had called Tony O'Love.
Tony O'Love.
And he called me, hey man, I'm starting my own group and I want you to be a part of it. I'm like, well, I hadn't done this, I hadn't done that in a while. So what you think? What made you think about me? He was like, well, Tony Ward recommended me to you. And Tony Ward is somebody who at the time I wasn't really around a lot. And so he was like, yeah, he recommended me to call you. Out of all the singers that had been in town and they knew verbatim, call a 16-year-old kid out of high school. And so, I got reacquainted with those guys and everything else. But Tony Ward, just as a person, is always going to be someone who cares outside of what I could do, just within music.
Absolutely.
That man taught me about the importance and the seriousness of fatherhood. He always stressed about taking care of business. He never once knocked me for if I had to work, and I didn't miss shows. I never missed shows, rehearsals, things like that. He always pushed me, hey man, you work, you go, you take care of that child. That's what you do. You take, that's what men do.
Yes, sir.
You stand out, you participate at your church, you build. And so it's the life lessons and the character lessons that Tony Ward is given.
Absolutely.
Outside of that, and then I had a conversation with him one time when we first started singing. I believe I was probably 17 or 18, and we was in Kentucky at some church somewhere, and we was in the dressing room getting dressed, and it's like, for whatever reason, we would get dressed. We wouldn't sit in rooms like typical groups. We would sit in rooms and have real sports-style game-playing conversations to get on stage. And so everybody walked out the room, and it's just me and him in the room, and he's saying, hey, man, look, I know you got a lot of talent, but if you just stick with me, I'll teach you some things that'll go a long way. And ever since then, I've always tried to sing with that craft that he taught me, that knowledge, that foresight, to see things that other folks just wouldn't see as a singer. Like singing now, and I know this may be a long, detailed answer, but singing now is more valuable when you care about the people you're singing to.
Absolutely.
It's more than just singing a song. It's more than just getting the crowd hype and all this other stuff. There's a time and a place for it, but it's about what you sing. What did you make the song personal? Those things go a long way.
Absolutely.
And so that's why it means more. You can see 4 people saying that you see sing every week. One person might always stand out from the rest of them. Why? Because he thought about the room. He thought about the people he was singing to. He thought about the message that he was delivering. And would it be strong enough for them to carry that message outside of their service? See, a lot of people they'll go to a concert, they'll hear something that night, a week later, 2 weeks later, they done forgot about it. But there are other folks that'll call and, hey, I remember what you said 2 months ago.
Absolutely.
And those things right there go a long way. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, Tony Ward, huge role model.
And I agree. Now I test. Tony Ward is an awesome man, an awesome singer. So let's transition about 2 or 3 years because he left, and I was still there. And so when he left, I followed him. I don't know how I got there, but I got there. So transition.
I called them, and they was in a thing where, and that's a slippery slope when you deal with family.
Absolutely.
In business, all family members don't know how to do good business. They don't know how to separate the two. And so you're dealing with family members, and family members are either immature, inconsistent, they don't know, and they trying to play the blood card over business for favoritism or whatever these things might be. And so we were without a drummer. We were without a singer as well, but we were without a drummer. And so they went across the catalogs and all this other stuff. I'm like, look, man, I don't need to go no further. I need to go with somebody I trust.
Right.
And so I called my guy. I said, hey, man, look, I know the quartet days that we once had are long gone, but let's do something different to where we going into another phase. Are you okay with it? Right. And so it's where you came, and pretty much you were a shoe-in. You gonna be in there regardless.
Right.
Now the other party.
So let's transition.
Put them on trial.
2 or 3 years when we got to the Dixon Travelers. Now explain the importance and all the wisdom, the knowledge of Rookie, of Chester, of Levert, the late great Cotton that they instilled in you, man, as a young buck, man. Like, just talk to us about what they meant to you as a person.
Man, it's another thing to where you cling to the guys that can show you more than where you are now.
Absolutely.
And the thing that I love about the Dixie Travelers is that no other group in town would ever really be about per se, is singing was okay. They loved to sing, but they made sure what they sung about, they lived about.
Absolutely.
And so with them, like, those guys could sing every weekend, but those guys never missed days of work. They never missed days of work. They always made sure their families were taken care of.
Absolutely.
Always made sure their families were taken care of.
Absolutely.
So much so to where even if they passed on, their great grandchildren would be set.
The legacy was in place.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so they cared about singing and things of that nature, and they had a resume to boot. That's what people don't realize.
Absolutely.
They were signed to Nashville Records.
Yep.
Do your research. That was a record company way back when named Nashville Records.
It was prominent.
And what was special about Nashville Records, and that was out before Malaco Records. Like all the biggest groups that you know are legends of the time were all a part of or either co-signed with Nashville Records. The Keynotes we talk about, the Jackson Southern Airs we talk about, the Dixie Hummingbirds. These are legendary groups that were signed to Nashville Records around that time. And so they have a resume to boot, but they also had the life of success. They all worked. They never missed work. Always showed up to work. I know a guy, Rookie, taught me one time. He said, man, look, when you get a check, pay everything you can pay up front, put some money up, pay yourself $5. Always do that, pay yourself $5. Well, last time I checked, Rookie, and I'm not so much as talking about what he has, but he has land in Nashville, land from county to county.
Absolutely.
And his family is set. And remember one time he told me another story. And y'all, he's still alive. He's not dead or anything. Right. People usually talk about these moments or stories.
Dead and gone.
When a person's dead and gone. And the man said he bought his wife a car. And she would say, well, I don't know, to pay it or whatever. He said, man, look. I said, man, Rookie, you got the money. You just pay it off. He said, no, man. I just want to make her sweat a little. I want to make her sweat a little. Man, I'll pay it all off like 2 months from now. But it's that kind of confidence.
Absolutely.
Not so much as cockiness, but it's confidence that you knew that you had spent your life doing what you had to do what you want to do. And so I'll never forget those guys. Life lessons indeed. I learned a lot about priorities with them. When the group is without, find a way to make the group work. That's why I had other friends Monterey Lee, the first group he came in contact with in quartet was the Dixie Travelers. It's probably the only group that he
Come
has.
to the show, Monterey.
That's probably the only group he had. That's probably the most respect for.
Absolutely.
Because I remember one time we would sleep coming back in town from up north somewhere, and I'm sleeping. I wake up and he having a conversation with Rookie, which is Vernon Evans. No, Vernon Holt. I'm sorry. Vernon Holt having a conversation with him. And here I am thinking they talking about quartet or whatever the case is, but they having a conversation like grandfather, grandson. And Ricky asked, man, do you like ice cream?
Typical him.
I like ice cream. and so it's little small, barrier breakers of conversations like that too. And so, man, you'll never forget these people. Like, it's not about you got a talent. I really want you around because of your talent, but no, man, you're a young man that I could teach you about life. Absolutely. From my eyes and these guys' eyes. And so, yeah, Dixie Travelers, man. Dixie Travelers, Tony Ward. Tony actually preaches at a church, Worldly Furnace.
In Dixon,
absolutely. In Dixon, actually one of the family stomping grounds.
Yep.
Old members from the Dixie Travelers. So
a quartet stomping ground too.
Everything comes back full circle.
Absolutely.
Everything. So yeah.
So let's transition about 5 or 6 more years and talk about your relationship and what you did with DCB, and also tagged Ed along with Tony Bush, which is a great friend of yours.
Yeah.
Who we all love from Nashville. A great performer with the cape and everything, baby.
He's a character.
And a great drummer. Absolutely. So tie in your relationship and friendship with Tony Bush and with DCB.
All right, well, I did.
What's up, man? Bam.
We was in middle school, early middle school. Tony was playing drums. We had a talent show at the school. And so Johnny Reynolds was playing drums for the talent show. He was going to play like a drum solo for the talent show. So Tony Bush helped him set up the drums in the gym. And so for just sound check or tuning the drums, Tony was in the auditorium just playing the drums. And I remember this like it was yesterday. But the thing is that I sung too, but we never conversed about music at this time. And so years later, we fast forward, and Tony's playing for churches, and here I am singing, and these worlds never cross. And we've been knowing each other forever, but they never crossed paths. And so he was doing something for a group. I think that was somewhat the first time he was playing bass. Then I had knew man from wearing gold teeth with a gospel group, wearing a whole gold set of teeth with a gospel group, with a peach mango suit.
Man.
With the Clarksville Soul
Clarksville's finest, baby.
With a taupe shirt. And taupe shoes.
Yes, sir. Michael on drums, all that.
Doing the steps with Birds I'm Here suits. And so he was there.
Come to the show, man.
He was there, and Bam was doing solos. Bam was doing solos with Brothers for Christ, and he was up there. He was up there trying to do all of these Prince style.
Come holler at me, Bill.
With a guy that was
Jonathan Blackwell
up there singing a song called "I Count It as a Blessing to Be Able to Brag on Jesus." But the lead singer was up there doing he do his thing. Oh, do you? Hey. Yeah, so that's what he used to be on. So there's a space and time, and so. The guy I mentioned earlier, Antonio Love, called about this group and put this group together. And crazy how, that there are so-called seed groups. Seed groups create other groups. Absolutely. And so in this house, we had to do a rehearsal one time, to kind of do like an introduction to set the group up and whatnot. And so the group consisted of myself, Antonio Love.
So were you singing, playing bass?
I was singing lead.
Okay.
The lead singer. So Antonio Love, myself, Bam Richardson, Michael Terrange, Travis Lightfoot, James Plunk Satterfield. Like that was the group at the time. And so we already had a drummer. Bam wanted to be a drummer. So he didn't want to stay. Yeah, he didn't want to sing or stay. Right. If he couldn't play drums for the group. But it's also hilarious because he would sing with the Clarksville Soul. That's because he used to walk around, hey, yo, Bam, show me what grandma would do. He'll get the sachet and all this BS, so whatever the case is. So that group went on, the group split up or whatever the case is. And so Man and Bam called me about the idea of putting together their own group. Now, the group that we had initially tried to create was still relevant, still current, but you had this other group blossoming too. Just didn't really have a name for it. And so they had a rehearsal, I guess like an introduction rehearsal, and that's where you bring in Tony Bush. I walk into church and Tony Bush is playing bass. I'm like, first of all, I didn't know you could play bass.
Right.
Number two, you doing this rehearsal, and Randy Carlton was there. Whatever reason, he always managed to get kicked out of every group he ever went to.
Randy, come to the show, baby.
I don't know,
Defend yourself, man.
He better defend himself
Right.
with all that Beijing.
I'm gonna have you and Randy together on the same show.
Yeah, he should. Well, we got to make room for his shorts first. He shops at Casual Male XL, for those that don't know, and buys casual shoes from Nino's in Rivergate Mall. So they started doing these groups. Tony Ward, my mentor, who actually recommended me to that group, actually started helping out my group. So he was actually behind me as a lead singer and trusting me to kind of guide the way. And so you had this going on, and then you had this other group lingering. And so the Chosen Brothers started to build themselves as time went on. So the groups were climbing at the same time. But there was a transition amongst another group, the Redeemers. That group is split. And so the band, per se, the band half of the group and a singer went on. And then the singers went their own separate ways. So the group broke up and went into two different groups. So that group formed Redeemed, and then you had the Redeemers. So my group technically got dissolved into Tony Ward and the Redeemers. And then you still had the Chosen Brothers working and trying to rise. And so you have these groups going. And so Tony, for how long we've been close, he was like, man, look, I need your help with this group. And so I said, yeah, man, no problem. And so I come into the picture. We do our thing as that group. And so I'm pretty much singing with both groups at the same time. And at that time, people couldn't understand the concept of helping other groups. And pretty much that's how music is. Somebody always helps someone else. It's never about territorial or being selfish. It's about you lending a hand to the fellow man, like your fellow group.
Absolutely.
And so we went on. Chosen Brothers was there. Tony played bass for a long time. I was there. The group had stopped singing. Then they came back. They had T.J. Reynolds in the group. He came at a time, kind of like the extra guy from the Temptations. The one that left the group. And they was like, remember the lady tried to screw them in the beginning of the movie? And that dude, he was just around for the ride, but he wound up working for Motown. And when Paul was drunk, he was doing like the lead vocals behind Paul, behind stage somewhere. Yeah. And so it just went on from there. And the Chosen Brothers style was, we're going to do it contemporary. And contemporary is like...
William singers.
Yeah. Well, William singers came later. Well, as far as like us knowing them, they came later. But contemporary, we want to have this... Bam always wanted this duele feel. He loved duele. And I thought the man was monotone, so I don't care what you say. He was monotone, and he always wore scarves. I don't know what was wrong with that guy. Always wore scarves. And so we had our traditional quartet background, upbringing, old Baptist church upbringing amongst all of us with this neo-soul sound to try to go with this group. And it was different at the time. A lot of people didn't understand it, but they grown to like us and love us over time. Albums came, Stellar Award nomination came. And so, yeah, those good dudes.
Wow. Well, look, man, we both pressed for time. I thank my boy for being here today, but I'm not done. I got 10 more questions that the community want to know really quick. They sent me 10 questions.
Shot move.
Absolutely. Favorite food, Phillip?
Favorite food is always going to be spaghetti.
Cool. Well, yeah, spaghetti, pasta, pizza,
Always
all that,
spaghetti.
yeah.
Let's say Italian food. Yeah, Italian food always be best. Always.
Favorite movie?
Favorite.
I'll give you two. I'll give you, because you're a movie head.
Okay. Favorite movies. Wait. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Animal House.
Animal House. All right.
Animal House.
Now, I just threw this question in here. Your favorite two wrestlers of all time?
Hulk Hogan and The Rock.
Really?
Easy.
Hogan?
And The Rock.
Hogan is so typical.
You don't talk about wrestling without Hulk Hogan.
This is true.
You don't watch wrestling tapes without Hulk Hogan being on those tapes.
This is true.
You don't go and sit.
It's so typical to say Hogan though. That's like saying your favorite basketball player, Jordan. It's so typical.
You don't go sit at Vina Moore's house on Sundays during parties.
D-Mo.
To do to have paid pay-per-view parties without Hulk Hogan being on those pay-per-views. Like it's just point blank.
And so The Rock is the one who kind of carried the torch after Hogan to kind of just carry wrestling.
It was really if I had to do
Steve Austin too.
If I had to do a list of wrestlers like going up the pike, Hogan, Hart, Austin, Rock.
Where is Shawn Michaels in the equation? Would he be with Bret Hart?
He would be 5.
Really?
Oh, I mean, he's not one of my favorite wrestlers, though I respect him.
Absolutely.
He would be somewhat 5. One, he didn't draw. And people,
Shawn Michaels didn't draw?
No.
Just a sexy boy, sexy boy.
Do your research, you all.
Maybe he didn't draw with the Rockers.
No, he didn't draw. He did not draw
he was a rocker.
He did not draw as champion. He was when his reign with the Clique. Like y'all, anybody, my wrestling fans out there, him, Kevin Nash, Razor Ramon,
X-Pac,
and Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley,
right.
the game. Those guys didn't draw. Check out the ratings. Check out the podcast and all the information out there. Those guys did not draw. But I tell you who did draw. When Hulk Hogan told the world that he did it for the money. But he told him that if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff would still be selling meat out of the back of a truck in Minneapolis. Yeah.
All right, so one more wrestling question. We love wrestling. Where do you fit Razor Ramon in that equation? Just a good talent, very charismatic, I guess.
Razor Ramon will always be charismatic.
Absolutely.
Charismatic. That machismo. That's always going to be his thing. I mean, he was great.
He was a good wrestler.
Was big time.
He was big time.
With NWO. He got his just deserved.
And Hulk Hogan, too, yeah.
They all
kind of
did.
go full circle.
So, y'all, listen. When they play NWO music, when you hear it anywhere, and you think about that black and white shirt with the NWO on it,
Scott Hall comes to mind.
And everybody, and they all do that whole thing. You're looking at it. You're checking out. You want to turn on TBS on Monday nights to turn the television to watch 2 hours. I'm a wrestling, y'all.
Absolutely.
I'm a wrestling was so good. You used to flick between the 2 channels to see
Raw
what was
and
happening.
Nitro, absolutely.
Raw and Nitro. You turned it to see. You wrestling nowadays. People don't like wrestling for all the commentating and people talking on the microphone. But WCW, when Hogan and the NWO and Ric Flair would get on there with the 4 Horsemen and all this stuff.
Sting and all black.
You watched. You tuned in. You watched. Yeah, you watched.
All right, so that's another podcast. We're going out whole. What's dude's name? The little racket? Cornell.
Jim Cornette.
Yeah, Cornell.
Definitely Jim Cornette.
We'll do that another show. Your favorite musical band of all time? Is it Earth, Wind & Fire? Is it Marvin Gaye? Well, give me 2. Your favorite R&B old school musical
artist
band?
Or band?
Either or. And then your favorite quartet band?
Favorite quartet band? That's easy. That's Darren McFadden.
Woo!
Darren McFadden and the Disciples. That's Point Period. They put R&B in gospel. If you listen to those albums,
yes, sir.
Chronicles and all that stuff like that, man, that's what that was. They did
Two-Face, all that.
They had the synthesizers doing different stuff, and they had the bass player with the funky bass lines.
Right.
They had a snazzy drummer. But for us, growing up in the 90s, early 2000s, if you had a swift drummer, you had something with your group. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's them off ramp. R&B band. It depends on what you look for.
Okay, so give me your favorite band and then give me, like you said, your favorite solo artist.
If I had to pick a favorite band, I'm going to say...
Mint Condition.
Without question, probably Mint Condition.
Woo! I love it. I love Mint Condition.
I'm going to say Mint Condition because...
Come on, Stokely. Come to the show, Stokely.
Mint Condition made music like to climb levels in songs. They made that term like driving music.
Absolutely.
They made driving
Pretty Brown
music.
Eyes.
They made morning music. They made that kind of music. Earth, Wind, and Fire was good, but Earth, Wind, and Fire was good if you appreciated brass. They had authentic board players, like authentic piano players, so you could feel it, and that was pure. That's pure too.
It was.
But if you want to look for music to cross ages and generations, it's Mint Condition.
Absolutely. Okay, let's bring it on home to Nashville. Who is your favorite preacher in Nashville? Now, I will say favorite and worst, but I don't want to hurt no feelings today. That's the next show.
The worst preacher, his name shall remain.
Okay. Oh, not today. I promise the next show, though.
My favorite preacher in Nashville. I have respect for so many of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like to hear.
Absolutely.
My favorite preacher that I like to listen
I'll give you two. I'll give you two preachers.
to. I like hearing Brianna Mitchell. I mean,
Cool.
I do know him. I like hearing him. He has a clear presentation one time. I remember one time he had to preach for an AME conference, but he's Baptist. And he said, I know y'all not going to invite me back, but that's okay. I still got to deliver a word for thus said the Lord anyway. And so I always had respect for him that he represented his culture where he was from, but also wanted to make sure that he came correct for a different denomination as well. And so I like hearing Brianna Mitchell preach. Let's see. I'll go totally off the cuff. L.O. Davis.
L.O.
Davis.
I love L.O.
I'm going to go L.O. Davis because he preaches. He
First
preaches
of all.
about real life.
Absolutely. Transparent. Absolutely.
Real life. Even if I had to put a slash, I take it back. If I had to put a slash between, I want to go like two folds on both of them. Two answers but four guys.
All right.
Brianna Mitchell, Dwayne Lewis.
Dwayne Lewis.
Dwayne Lewis is honest. Ladies and gentlemen, he's honest. He's so honest. He is honest. He's down to earth. He understands. He's been like that since I've known him all his life. He'll give you a handshake that you can trust. That man is honest. He's so honest. L.O. Davis, because L.O. preaches about real life and never minds telling people about where he came from. L.O. Davis used to get to church. L.O. Davis was catching the bus. L.O. Davis was preaching at the church at one time, covering for the church, and was catching the bus going home, walking home from the church.
Wow.
Preaching, get on and things of that nature, so people won't understand that.
Right.
Him, I also like those three. And I'm not even to be biased, but Pete Mitch.
Pete Mitch, I knew it.
Pete Mitch.
Pete Mitch.
Ronnie Mitchell. Yeah, I always like pastors that's
Pete Mitch.
I always like pastors from the heart.
Absolutely. He's
Pete
a man
Mitch
from the
is
heart.
a guy that definitely cares about his people. He cares
Absolutely.
about people, man. He does. Him and L.O. Davis kind of run hand in hand, where they love children too as well.
Absolutely.
Like I remember one time the children at Hopewell had made good grades. All made good grades. But then elementary school, middle school, as minor is expected. It's like the second, if it's a period of 6, and this is like the second round of report cards, and they all make straight A's and B's. And he touched him so much so he had broke down and started crying.
Wow.
While he was talking, because he just cared about kids' education, kids getting their education. In a world we live in now, you have to know. You got to know something.
Absolutely.
And so he cared about him. Pete Mitch, they throw celebrations for the children. Most churches, children fly under the radar.
It's true.
And so these are people that they care beyond. They care beyond the podium. They care beyond the sacred seat. And so I have respect for all of them.
Got about 4 more. All right, your favorite choir to either listen to from Nashville or play for. Your favorite choir in Nashville.
Oh, that's no question. The original Kingdom Love. Kingdom Love Worship Center Choir, no question. We had everybody held each other to a standard.
Absolutely.
Held each other to a standard.
Absolutely.
You had to bring it to be in that choir. Everybody who was somebody was a part of that choir. Band-wise, we had numerous musicians. We always grooved everything, made everything musical. We always had lead singers that could follow where we were going. And we had probably some of the most best choir directors, too. Justin Butler led them. That's the guy over TSU Choir. He's been over them for a long time. Dynamic choir director.
Come to the show, Justin.
Nate Bean, his family, technically. He directed them from time to time. Pastor Sam Franklin would direct them from time to time. Teddy Jackson. So it's a lot of moving parts to one great dynamic choir. Hadn't seen them in about 2 or 3 years, but yet they still will be remembered as one of the most dynamic choirs to ever touch down in the 615. Ever.
All right. Your favorite quartet group from Nashville. Before you answer that, let me just say this. The Dixon Travelers, just for me, because I want to just get this off my chest. The Dixon Travelers, the Joy Boys, the Melba Twins. Thank you for what you did for Nashville. Thank you guys, all you guys. Chris Carr, Levert, the Melba Twins, all you guys. So who is your favorite, because you have a relationship with all those groups.
Yeah, I do.
Every one of them. A personal relationship. But who is it for you that when you think of Nashville Quartet, who comes to mind? And I might have to give you 2, or can you do it with 1?
I can't say I have a favorite group, because otherwise I would be biased.
I know.
And I would say the Dixies only because of I have to pick a group based on who taught the most.
Longevity,
who taught me the most.
Yes, sir.
And so I would have to say Dixie Travelers, but the Joys, if I have to go by groups, I have to go by at what time period were they great, or to my opinion, were they you had to keep your eye on 98, 99 was Joy Boys.
Absolutely.
Early 2000s, 2004 through 8, Redeemers. Marable Twins were real strong and prominent around that time span. If you go back through the 99, 98, 97, you had the New Traveling Stars out of Murfreesboro. And so
that's a good one.
They were strong. You had Love and Devotion around that same time frame, early 2000s.
Absolutely, very
who
strong.
were probably the strongest woman group in town, and
Absolutely.
we had other women groups as well. And so it's just time frames for me when it comes down to groups. And so I respect them all. I really do. But it's always going to be Dixies because I learned too much from them.
But let me humble myself and go back, because I'm a little older, and talk about the Clouds of Heaven from Nashville for what they did. Wayne Evans. The True Notes, what they did from Nashville. There's so many great quartet groups from Nashville. My God, I can't even name all of them.
You have to give, if you want to give honorable mentions to groups.
When
I first grew up, the Chimes of Canaan.
Chimes of Canaan. Oh, absolutely.
When Percy Clark took on the mantle of lead singer for years up until his death.
Yes, sir.
But let's never forget Woodrow.
Absolutely.
Woodrow was their lead singer at one point in time. Conley was also there. Eric Douglas, that's your daddy. Conley was there. He was leading with them. And so you had Ollie and Bird and the rest of them. You had, who else sung around that time in Nashville? You did have the Ross Brothers.
I was going to say, let's go back on that James Carr tip and give my daddy, David Gresham, and C.T. Ross, and Alan Ross, and Michael Ross.
Yeah.
The Ross Juniors was a big staple.
Or the Soul Seekers.
Oh, wow. Absolutely.
And we definitely can't go without talking about their counterparts, the Jacksons.
Yes.
Not my name.
Yeah, Morris Jackson,
Teddy Jackson. Namesake, those guys, Teddy, Nate.
Wow.
Morris.
Wow.
Alex. Those guys were beyond their time.
Absolutely.
And before their time. The most musical. Oh, let's never forget about the Psalms. That was another group that was around. Yeah, the Psalms.
Clarksville Soul Stirrers from Clarksville, like you said.
Clarksville Soul Stirrers.
That's what Tony Ward started, actually, with the Clarksville Soul Stirrers.
The Bowen Brothers.
Wow.
Keys of Harmony from Clarksville. I got to give those groups. That's because they're not in the main city. You can't forget about those guys. R.I.P. Wiz.
Are there Echo Airs from Tennessee?
They're from Tennessee. But they like Memphis.
Okay.
But they came, later on. You never really knew them. Just if we stayed in our area, Columbia. Well, I kind of tie in Alabama to a certain extent. There was a group that used to come up here all the time. Thomas Holman and the Imperials. The Imperials was something. The Mellatones. Used to come down this way all the time. And so a lot of respect to those guys growing up too.
All right, 2 more questions. I'm going to let you go, brother. Who is your best? And somebody gonna get mad though.
I don't know who. If they are,
because he's controversial, so he wants this smoke.
if they are, please bring them. Bring them.
Who is your favorite personal singer? Whether it's quartet, in the church, R&B field, who is your favorite personal singer to hear from Nashville sing? Is it Kersel? Is it Stephen Cunningham? Who is your favorite singer? Come to the show, Steve. Come to the show, Steve.
Put your flip-flops on when you come, Steve.
Who is your favorite singer when it comes? And Julius, come to the show, bro. Julius texted me about 2 hours ago about some YouTube stuff. Come to the show and let's talk about it, Julius, the genius. Who's your favorite personal singer from Nashville? I give you two, a male and a female.
Personal singer from Nashville.
Like you said earlier, singing, and it isn't really just singing. I mean, just having the character, having charisma,
having that presence.
Yes, sir. To me, I can pick Tony Ward, but I mean, he's not the greatest singer.
Not from
but
Nashville.
True, Clarksville.
From Nashville. I don't know if I could even name
Sam
it.
Franklin?
No, because I mean, well, she's great, but it's too many that can do
that. Yeah.
awesome work. They got different tones and textures, but they just do awesome work. I really couldn't name that for a male or a female.
Right.
Because I just know so many.
And that goes to show how good Nashville is. Like how many great musicians, how many great singers we have in Nashville. So that's a good thing that we can't really come up with one person.
Yeah, they all do like beautiful work.
Yeah.
Like you could put them, you could plug them just like an aux cord into a different style of song, whatever the case is, and they'll just fit.
Absolutely.
Male and female.
Absolutely.
So, I can't name that one at all.
All right, so this is another one that we probably can't name. Our last question too. Who is your favorite musician? Any organist, drummer, bassist? Who's your favorite musician? Period.
Oh, that's easy. Felix Pastorius.
Oh, I'm sorry. From Nashville. From Nashville.
Jocko first. Jocko died. Jocko had a son named Felix. Favorite musician.
Awesome bass. Right.
Yeah.
Funky.
Yellow Jackets, y'all. Look them up. He's playing bass for them. In town. Favorite musician. In town.
Shout out to Joe. Joseph, hold on, before you say that, Joseph said he comes to the show. You know, Joe don't go nowhere unless he working or playing drums. But Joe said, Joe, I'm going to hold you to this, bro. You say he's coming to the show, come to the show.
Joe Fry.
Joe Fry. He said he was coming to the show, bro.
Joe Fry. Legacy.
Kenny Boo. It's his brother, awesome bassist, awesome singing. Come to the show, Kenny Boo.
Diabetes awareness, you all.
He's lying.
Diabetes
great
awareness.
health. He's a sex machine.
He keep losing that chalk. He keep losing that. Keep eating that chalk, he gonna lose that foot.
Where's the kid to come to the show? Where's the kid to come to the show? So your favorite singer?
You saying
from
name
Nashville,
a favorite singer in Nashville? You can't name
musician.
it. Name a favorite musician in town.
You gotta do it. You might can do sing, but you gotta do it. I'm gonna say Julius. Julius pushed me like no other. Cedric Stevenson, I love you, man. Come to the show, Ced.
It depends. I would say it depends on. I'm a guitar man. I love guitar, but I also love keys that can express, that can take you somewhere. So I can't do that one either.
I know.
There's too many. I mean, I can just give a whole lot of honorable mentions on each instrument, but we don't have time for that.
Because when I said Julius, then Tavius, Mosaic came to my mind. And Tavius is, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Alton came to my mind.
If I had to think of musicians that I love or just work with, that'd probably be some of my favorite. Darius Dalton on keys. So Darius is
come to the show.
Head of his time. He's from Murfreesboro. His mom sung in Nashville a bunch of years. Darius Dalton is a beast on keys. Guitar player. In Nashville, from Nashville, just around Nashville right now. I'm gonna probably have to say Black Adam and White Adam. For those y'all don't know them, Adam Smith who can play every
Right,
instrument.
bass, drums, right.
Yep,
Adam,
absolutely.
come to the show, Adam.
And Adam McPhail, never forget about Adam McPhail. Little Adam, I love to call the White Adam Black Adam and the Black Adam White Adam. If you ever heard those guys play, they game changers. They are game
And
changers.
shout out to our boy Josh too.
Who
like
is it?
Josh.
I can't think. I can't.
Joshua.
Oh, Josh Settles. Joshua Settles.
No, not. I'm my boy, not Josh. They want to play lead guitar. The one we did the birthday thing for. Dang, I'm tripping.
Birthday thing.
They moved to Florida, then they moved to like Spain or something.
Yeah, that's him. Josh Settles.
Nah, he play bass.
Josh play guitar.
He settles.
No, Nichols. His last name is
Nichols, yeah.
But he's related to
Josh
Settles.
Settles, yeah. Shout out to Josh,
He's
man.
related to Settles.
And Josh Settles too.
He changed his name to a Roman noodle packet flavor. I don't know what he is. Yamaka, whatever. I don't know. Kamehameha. I don't know what he changed his name to. But shout out to him. He's somewhere taking pictures of ostriches somewhere in the polar ice cap. I don't know what that dude is.
With some cowboy boots
So
on.
definitely give that man a shout out too. Drums. There's too many drummers to name. I love
Tony.
all
Joe.
the drummers that I've ever worked with.
Right.
All of them. They all had something special about them.
Shout out to my brothers, Marco, Deshaun.
They play drums. I don't know what churches they be at. They jump churches. I don't know where them cats be at. But if you ever played drums or you played for me or played around me or whatever the case is, like shout out to all y'all. So yeah. So you can't name them. Just out of respect,
Right.
you just can't
Absolutely.
name one because everybody does something special in their own way.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about a guy, I know a guy, and he shall remain nameless, but I know a guy that can do a whole drum intro accent only using a hi-hat and a snare. You got a 12-piece drum set, he's only using a hi-hat and a snare. I mean, all this other stuff. You got another drummer that would play his cymbals as if it's just as loud as somebody laying on a horn in a car. You got another drummer that'll sit on the balls part of the drum seat backwards and shovel. The shovel, and so it's a lot of stuff. You got a drummer that play drums with the sole purpose of being seen on drums.
Yeah,
and they slide his
absolutely.
glasses down. You got another drummer that always messes up the hi-hat when he plays. Always. On a slow song. Stomp the hi-hat hard, break the whole hi-hat. And the whole group had to be playing, and he up there trying to fix the whole hi-hat. So I done seen a little bit of everything. I have. So it's just Nashville for you. Clarksville, Columbia, Pulaski,
Alabama.
surrounding areas, Kentucky, even though it's a whole nother state, they second nature to Nashville too. So, yeah. So, much love to all of them.
Man, look, I enjoyed you, bro. I appreciate it, man. Go copy his album. Please tell the people, like, give him a last word, brother. Give him a last word.
Again, I have a single out entitled "Build a Fence." You can find it anywhere. Phillip Jackson, "Build a Fence." That's the title of it. You can find it anywhere. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I post a lot of funny videos on Facebook. Feel free to enjoy, comment, laugh, XYZ. Also, be looking out for. We're doing a viral concert tribute to Nashville legends, October the 3rd. It's a virtual video. It will be on social media. Well, we'll actually be in production doing it October 3rd. But we hope to release it and bring it out by the end of October. Also, Chronicles of Dixie Travelers, Chronicles of a Dixie. That's kind of like a little mini movie that we're working on. A tribute to a Nashville great gospel group, legendary group, the Dixie Travelers. Nice. We have a live performance. We have like a little mini movie, like a little short commercial and whatnot. We're working on that now. So be in tune for that. Also, Kingdom Collaborative. That's a big organization of people. Look for upcoming events from GMWA. We're working on a lot of stuff. You all, the word for the rest of 2020 on forward is inclusion. Inclusion. Basically, if I could take what George Bush had came up with, he didn't really say much, but if I could take something he came up with, no one left behind.
Absolutely. I agree.
Inclusion, no one left behind. Bring everybody along. Everybody has talent. They just have to have someone to see or recognize it. And so just be looking out, y'all. Everybody does great stuff with this wonderful podcast we have now. You see this, a lot of great artists are going to come.
Absolutely.
And I don't know you. I love you.
I love you
God
too.
bless you. We pray for you. Stay in the race. If you do nothing else, stay in the race. You got one more river to cross. You got one more mountain to climb. No matter how hard it gets, every day is a different battle. And Lee Williams said it that if you look forward and every time you see more hills and more hills and more hills,
Yes, sir,
it's
Doc.
already waiting on you. Because if you even have to go biblical, it says
Absolutely.
in this life, any man or any child born of a woman, the days will be numbered with trouble. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what the Bible says.
Absolutely.
But it also says that now God will not forget the labor nor the love that you've shown towards his name. For if you faint not, if you faint not,
That's a
you
word,
shall
Doc.
reap. You shall reap.
Absolutely.
And so, man, stay in the race. Stay in the race.
Absolutely.
Do right. Be positive. Uplift someone. Give them a hug. Give them dap. Tell somebody, man, what's up. You never know how much saying hello goes.
A
Goes
long way. Absolutely.
Goes a long way. Somebody could be crushed.
Yep.
Somebody could be going through some things. Somebody having suicidal thoughts, and all it takes for you to come into
Sure,
a job, come
right.
into a house, come into around a setting, and tell a joke
Right,
and
right.
change the whole
That's
mood.
it.
Like, wait a minute, I didn't think of it that way. So, yeah, just saying hello does a lot. So, y'all, we love y'all. We out. That's all for me. If I never see you again, good morning, good evening, and good night.
Hey, that's it, man. Love you, man. Thank you, bro.
Always,
Peace.
always, always.